So I am very, very excited that as we gather here to look at the World Quality Day, that we rethink what we as a country need to do. We had very, very courageous people here, the likes of Kuguru, and the people that have tried out different ideas. I think it is time that we try to do more for ourselves. The idea that we want is to build these industrial parks, produce products, and network them, sell them through an online portal. So even if you're in Lamu, you can sell your products in an online portal, so somebody in Busia can buy your product, and within 24 hours, you can be able to have delivery of your goods. So that is what we are trying to do, but we need to work very closely with the Kenya Bureau of Standards so that we are able to really go into this space. Our journey towards economic vibrance and international prominence is intricately linked to our commitment to quality. This commitment is manifest in our efforts to position Kenya as a regional and global industrial leader. We definitely have a lot of potential. This potential, we have not realized it because many of us have been risk averse. Many of us have been afraid of venturing into this direction. And we would like to encourage you that this government is encouraging manufacturing. So systems must work, and they must work for us. And we as manufacturers, if I put myself in the shoes of CAM, must trust your systems. So if you tell me today your rice is not meeting quality, and the clients are very clever, they go ahead and bring another sample with another name. The same product you say it failed the quality. Now I bring it as Anthony, and it passes the quality. What does that tell you about that place? That there's something that is not adding up. That the science in that place is not working. And so part of building our systems is to build systems that people can rely on, that people can respect. I know if I go to Nairobi Hospital and I'm going to have my blood sugar measured, when they give me those results, I want to believe in them. If they say your blood sugar is high, I don't want to doubt that. And so we want KEPS to reach a level where if you give me your results, they mean what you are saying. Not for 5 minutes, then the sample changes. And so you really need to work, not just what you are doing in Nairobi, but also in your regional labs. In Eldoret, in Mombasa, the stories I hear can be very horrifying. That a sample that failed the test yesterday can actually pass the test. That you have shot yourself in the foot. The other issue, of course, is technology. As an institution, we must increasingly invest in technology because technology is changing. If you look at the science of laboratory and items, it has changed quite a lot. So there is a new technology for measuring different glucose levels, starch, ash. So we really, as an institution, must be able to change with technology so that we keep pace with industry.
Standards that are required in the country.
I think we've taken a very bold step where we have said, as long as your turnover doesn't make 5 million Kenya shillings, which is like 80% plus of the MSMEs, they pay nothing. So those who are then going to pay up to the maximum of 400,000, they are largely established. And that's the levy which we'll also be using to both continue with the developmental work around these MSMEs, but equally trainings, establishing laboratories right across the entire 47 counties. So you find that in terms of our operations, we are not dependent on Treasury. We are one of the institutions that don't get any allocation out of the budget that is read. So this is again going to help us to ensure that we are sustainable as an institution, but we are playing the developmental role. And please don't forget equally that we are also ensuring the entire safety of the population. So this is very important for us as KEBS, and it will come in to help the entire strategy of government. Yeah. That, you know, we are regional players. We've got programs which we are running. We are participating in forums. If you look at us, it's also, we have got our collaborator, our very collaborative approach. So you find Kenya Association of Manufacturers, the Jua Kali Federation, all these bodies where these people are, we are part of their programs. Also at the regional level, you find that our staff, they wake up in the morning to go and have engagements with these small-scale entrepreneurs. The beauty is that KEBS largely now is well understood by them in terms of that there is a value they are adding to them, and that once they are part of and they have our S-mark, then the standards of their goods is as well very different in terms of the mindset also of the consumers. Because remember that it is the S-mark and the diamond mark that gives faith that the product being put to the population is quality, but also has safety in itself. I'll say that Kenya, our biggest issue is around our industrialization strategy. Because our industrialization strategy is geared towards import substitution. You find we do not have a very robust export-oriented strategy. And I think that largely sits not as an institutional issue at KEBS, because we've got these other bodies who work with us, and they are global in nature and global in status, to the extent that if they certify that a product is okay, it has originated from Kenya, that product is taken globally as a good product. So it's an issue of our basket of export products is largely empty, and if not empty, it is still in very low status. It's raw materials. That is why you find that the critical thing for the country at this point in time, and it is starting to happen, is to drive an export-oriented industrial strategy as well, so that we balance out, because it is going to help us in terms of many things. Foreign exchange earnings is going to help us in terms of creation of wealth, in terms of more value. So you find that we as KEBS, we've got our strong collaboration, and we also have the strategy in terms of at the ministry level in terms of what they are doing to eliminate the barriers of trade, especially across the African countries, and I'm sure the MD, you can come in on this. But equally, we do have, from our perspective, partners who can certify the quality of the products out of our markets. But trade barriers are largely an issue which then is sitting in terms of at the ministry level. On SMEs, I think it's good to appreciate that from our national strategy is around wealth creation, employment, and globally, small-scale industries is the way to go. If you go to China, you go to India, you go to Germany, and that's the way even us as a country we are going to move forward in terms of addressing these key challenges around unemployment. So KEBS sits there centrally because we need to push these guys and we mainstream them. We help them so that in terms of the quality of their products, in terms of their infrastructure, in terms of their ability to get beyond the market where they start, because these are entrepreneurs. So that is where KEBS comes in, and that is why you find we've got a very decentralized strategy in terms of approach. Currently, we've got our regional offices, but we want to get right into the entire 47 counties. Talking about the current industrialization strategy, which is ongoing and being set, KEBS sits right there to guide them, to help them, to make sure that they evolve. In terms of compliance, you know, it is a journey. There are those who are a bit advanced, they quickly embrace the S mark. There are those who don't even fully understand why the standards. So you find that they are all at different phases in terms of their growth journey. But for KEBS, we are there. Those who are quick and they can mainstream, they get even into the regional markets, we are part of them. We are training them, we are exposing them, we are part of their groups, we are part of their bodies, because you find that they are also into different bodies. So compliance is there. Those who have evolved, you can talk in terms of 60–70%. Those who are coming up, it is a walk, it's a journey, but we are part of it.
As Kenya Bureau of Standards, we have made a strategic decision to support the micro, small, and medium enterprises. And this is because the MSMEs are the backbone of our economy. And if we look at the government agenda, that's the bottom-up economic agenda, is focusing on the micro, small, and medium enterprises. So as Kenya Bureau of Standards, we have an SME policy, which we are pursuing. And in this policy, we are going to build capacity of quite a number of micro and medium enterprises. And we are looking at capacity building of 24,000 micro enterprises in our economy. The capacity building will focus on training of these micro enterprises to be able to meet their competitive potential in this competitive world. Some of the things we are going to train them on is how they can implement quality systems in their processes so that they can meet the market needs. And as Kenya Bureau of Standards, we are also looking at helping these micro enterprises to get certification for their products. We have programs that we have put in place where we are supporting micro enterprises by way of reducing the prices that we charge for them to get certification. And as we are aware that once these micro enterprises get certification, that is the standardization mark, then they are able to get into the markets which we have, not just in the Kenyan market, but they are able to also reach the East African market. And by extension, once you get the S mark, they are able to reach even the African market. By their products, they will be able to sell their products in Africa. They will be able to sell their products competitively in East Africa without any further testing of these products. So this is what we are looking at, empowering our micro, small, and medium enterprises by supporting them, by building their capacity, and ensuring that they get certification for their products.
Have you already begun, or when are you actually beginning the exercise?
We have already begun the process. We began it, we have been doing this process, and the 24,000 MSMEs we are targeting in the next 5 years. This is in our strategic plan, 2022-2027. So the 5 years started in 2022.
And the PS had suggested subcontracting of labs to ensure that there is adherence to quality. What is your view on this? Are there plans to subcontract labs? And then afterwards, to the chair, if you could just tell us, what is the rate of compliance for these MSMEs that are being trained and for MSMEs that are not being trained? Are we doing well in complying with standards of quality?
On the issue of laboratories, what I would want to start with is to say that in our laboratories at Kenya Bureau of Standards, which we have really invested on in terms of infrastructure, we have invested in terms of competence of our staff. We have the best staff that you can get in East Africa and even in Africa in these labs who are manning. We have accreditations for our laboratories, which means we have very competent staff. We have the light infrastructure. We are also looking at putting in more infrastructure, more technology as we get new innovations, and we want to strengthen our laboratories. We have laboratories across Kenya. We have laboratories in our regional offices, and we are looking at strengthening what we have to ensure that we are serving the Kenyan market, and not just the Kenyan market. We are serving the East African market, And we have even gone further to be able to engage even with other African countries, training them, building their capacity, so we have the right qualifications and competence and infrastructure within Kenya Bureau of Standards. When we talk about intra-African trade, currently it's standing at a mere 16%. And this basically what it shows is that we can do much more. And as a national standards body, we are working towards ensuring that we increase this intra-African trade. We can trade between ourselves. And with the AFCFTA, we are looking at harmonizing our standards in Africa. And what this will do is that products will be able to move from one African country to another without having to be tested again, which eliminates trade barriers, technical barriers to trade, and it will improve on how we do trade with each other. We have all these products in Africa, we can increase this one. The other thing we are doing is to ensure that we have mutual recognition agreements between our partner states, between the member states in Africa, and this will help in eliminating the technical barriers to trade and will increase trade. And this will actually boil down to improving trade even in our MSMEs. Once we do certification, we have done certification with harmonized standards, then these traders will be able to trade within Africa and increase the intra-African trade.
The last one from the end, because
milestones that we have already achieved. One is that we have increased numbers of MSMEs who have come for certification. I think it was evident even as we recognized our micro, small and medium enterprises who we are giving certifications today. We also have industries who have consistently maintained our Diamond Mark of Quality, which is a mark of excellence. We have recognized them today. So as Kenya Bureau of Standards, we are working with every industry, with every trader to make sure that we are facilitating trade within ourselves in East Africa and also in Africa. So we are working with these people to facilitate trade within ourselves.
Okay, the last question.
The issue was how much we are importing. We are importing so much within our country, which means we are exporting jobs. As a country, we are refocusing our attention into job creation, and that is why we are focusing ourselves into the MSMEs. And when you look at our SME policy, which we have as an institution, it is geared towards that. On the issue of MSMEs and how we are incentivizing them to meet the certification requirements is that we have subsidized the cost of certification for our MSMEs. So the match that we are charging them, which is about 11,000 shillings for 3 products, is not even enough to cover the cost of testing. So we take care of the rest of the cost. We encourage them to come and have their products certified, because with certification, then they are able to access more markets than just in Kenya, but even outside Kenya.